Hello everyone. Thank you for letting me submit my presentation via video. First of all, I recognize that you're not going to be able to read what's behind me, so I'm going to provide a handout so that you can take a look at what I'm talking about as far as this model here, which we're taking a look at Dr. Calvin's 5 leadership dimensions leaders model. And so I identified 4 women leaders that fit within that model. The first one is Mary Barra. She was the CEO of GM. When she stepped into her position there at GM, she was facing a crisis, and just 71 days after she stepped in, she had to testify in front of Congress about the ignition crisis that was going on at GM. And she was quoted as saying, "I'm not afraid of the truth, and I'm not going to accept business as usual at GM." She has been able to demonstrate her purpose through her ability to make every car have standard safety features, and that was a result of coming in during this ignition crisis where they had to have the immense recalls. It was 30 million vehicles, but she's been able to move beyond that, and so her current focus is on culture change throughout the company, and she has been able to advance electric vehicles as well as autonomous technology within the culture at GM, but she recognizes that they have to build up the customer trust before that can happen at GM. The next CEO that we took a look at is Marissa Mayer, and she is the CEO of Yahoo. She had her foundings at Google, where she was one of the original employees before moving over to Yahoo. Yahoo was experiencing a couple of issues where they were losing their user base and revenues had started to decline, so she's kind of come in as the turnaround CEO, and that's been her big challenge. The way that she's been able to do that is she's navigating through strategic acquisitions, whether it's for hiring a group of people or the acquisition of Tumblr, which has brought on a lot of new content to their website. So her model for change is she recognizes that the biggest thing for companies is companies with the best talent win. And so she's recognizing people that are out there, they're making new products, they want to bring them into the Yahoo team and continue to drive business for Yahoo. The next person that I recognized was Angela Merkel, and she's the Chancellor of Germany. She's a third-term Chancellor. She had an interesting background. She was born in West Germany and ended up moving to East Germany with her family, which is kind of the opposite way that most families would want to move. They weren't allowing the transfer of families from East Germany to West Germany, but her family made the opposite transition. So she's actually not only the first woman Chancellor of Germany, but she's also the first former citizen of the German Democratic Republic. And so as she stepped into her role in Germany, she's been faced with a number of crises. The major crises were the Greek debt crisis, where she implemented a lot of the leadership as far as the terms of how they would keep Greece in the European Union, and a lot of that has to do with her ability to see the long-term goal of the continuity of the EU. Other crises that she's faced right now, she's facing the migration crisis, where she's been bringing in a lot of the migrants from Syria, and she's kind of led the EU in the number of people that they've been willing to accept. Her leadership there has been derived on the fact that she recognizes that the free transfer between all the countries within the EU, it's pivotal. If countries start to close borders, they're not really accepting how the EU operates. And so her consistency of path is she's been able to show her resolve in multiple crises. The last one that I'd like to touch on is after the Fukushima disaster, Angela Merkel had been opposed to closing all the nuclear power plants in Germany, but after the Fukushima meltdown, they changed their direction and were able to stay on track for their removal of all nuclear power plants by 2022, which is going to be huge in Germany. So how does she recognize change? She is able to manage the change and recognize that all of the decisions that they're making today have an impact on the perception of the Eurozone, and the freedom of movement, and how the European Union is held together. And the last CEO that I recognized was Indra Nooyi. She's the CEO of PepsiCo. She was born and raised in India, and she moved to the United States for her degree at Yale, and she joined PepsiCo. And her big change there is she recognizes that people have kind of turned against junk food and junk drinks, which would be sodas. And so her introduction of healthy drinks and products at PepsiCo was kind of a change in the culture that they have there. And she had to face the shareholders and say this is the right move. And luckily it's been forward thinking, because as attitudes have changed, she was able to recognize that. And Pepsi's actually performed much better than their big competitor, Coca-Cola, over the last couple of years as she's been CEO. And so her managing change, she's ensuring that the company is agile and can always pivot to the ever-changing market, and that's what she's shown as a leader in PepsiCo. So thank you, and I welcome your discussion on these three CEOs and the Chancellor of Germany. Thank you.